You need certain things in your life to help you get through hard times. You do. Sometimes you need people, sometimes you just need activities, sometimes you need different hobbies. And whether those things are going to benefit you in the long run or in the short term is another question you can ask yourself. I say this coming from the perspective of, are you going through a hard time and how are you coping with it? There are so many different ways that you can cope with so many different things. And it really just comes down to what you choose to do. Because I know both good, both the bad get you through certain things. And when you get out of that struggle, when you get out of that hardship, the thing that you were doing, does that represent you as a person? Does that actually serve you? Or was it something that you were just coping with? Because, I just say this from the perspective of, I was going through it all, last year, and especially in, February, March, April, May, and even the summer, and I just needed an outlet, and so I started this channel. And I think really just reflecting on my experience, I'm so glad I started this. I started something productive, something different, creative, and uses a different side of my brain that I don't usually use, which has been such an added benefit. But then I know some of the people that I just know in general use different ways of coping, and it is kind of detrimental. And to their health, who they are, and I'm not saying, oh, I'm better than them, because I'm genuinely not. I'm just using this as a talking point and from coming from my experience of making you aware of what you're doing to get through and to pass time. Because I know when we are in hard times that we look for instant gratification. To both feel and to fill that hole. And sometimes things are quicker than others, and that's just how life is. But I think when you can understand that from a dopamine hit, and you can understand that from a neurological perspective, then you're like, oh, I understand myself better, and so I can understand the actions that I'm taking. So then you can forward think, forward plan, and take the initiative to do something else. And just from a habitual standpoint, I was listening to Diary of a CEO talking to this Homeland Security woman, and she was just talking about habits and building small things into your day. This trainer, he literally makes these movie characters that go into Marvel, DC, superhero movies. And this person that he was taking care of was obese and his health was bad. But then he was like, I can do it. I can work the magic to help him. And so he was like, yo, all you have to do is just move your sneakers. And so he did, and then move them closer to your bed, and then put them on one day, and then put them on outside, and then put them on outside and go for a walk, and then put them outside and then go for a longer walk. And it was just small things like that that can make and break your day, that can make and break your habit. And I think when we can convince ourselves that this is the right thing for ourselves, then we can change and hopefully get out of that hard situation. I know I've mentioned this multiple times in my videos, but you can't expect change without changing. And one of the things that the lady talked about in the video was accepting the person and accepting the truth. And she was saying how there was this woman who came up to her after this conference, and she was crying because of her husband was just not in the lifestyle that she wanted for him, and that she would see for him. And so she was living in this false truth of him changing, even though years have gone by and the truth has been there, that he hasn't changed. And I think the same goes for you and I, that we have to accept ourselves and accept where we are and know our truth before we can move on with change. In a sense of like, oh, I am doing this to myself and this is hurting me. I need to do something else to help benefit me, rather than being like, oh, I'm doing this just to get through and it's fine and it's not hurting me. Kind of like ignorance is bliss. And I think when we can finally kind of find the truth within ourselves and understand what we're going through, we can better help cope and emotionally regulate ourselves and just take better care of ourselves, because I genuinely think we are our own best friend and our own best critic and enemy. Because art, think about it, I saw this TikTok and it was talking about this guy who was like, you are your own worst critic because you know you made it. You know every single flaw within that painting because you did it. And I mean, it's so true, because if you were to look at somebody else's painting, you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is so thoughtful, this is so good, I love every paint stroke. But then when you look at your art, you see, oh, that's so bad, that's a mistake. But kind of like what Bob Ross said, they're just happy little mistakes, and that you can't keep forcing yourself into the same cycle of seeing that every single thing that you do is a mistake and not a learning lesson. And I think that kind of changes your perspective of like, oh, I might not have done very good on blank, let me do blank instead. Because there's always different alternative solutions, just like in business. I've really been like honing down on this idea of identify the problem, make potential solutions, choose and execute a solution, review the solution, and change. 5-step process that all you need to do is literally write it down. Oh, I'm not happy in my situation. Okay, well, what about your situation that you're not happy about? Okay, well, I don't like this person in my life. I don't like doing this. I don't like the life that I live where I live, my job, the surroundings that I'm in, the food that I eat, what I don't do. Okay, pick one, make a plan. Even if it's literally just looking for different houses, slowly distancing yourself from a friend, buying one nutritional thing like a piece of fruit at the store. That's all you have to do. And small micro habits like that will benefit you in the long term, rather than trying to do a whole entire 180 and not looking back. Because that's not realistic. Like, most people cannot go cold turkey. And just know, whatever you're doing right now, there is a reason why you are doing it. But also know that you are more than what you are doing to get through this hard time. And so then know that you can cope in a different way that might suit you better in the long term, and that might help you build yourself up instead of building yourself on a sandy foundation to then later break you down. You've got this. I believe in you. You and I can do it, and we have gotten this far, not with luck, but with our own strength and determination. Food for thought.